Hi, this is Sally, and today I am going to be showing you how to mend, or repair, I should say, a cigarette burn. The gentleman called and asked if I would do it, and I said yes, but I did scold him for smoking in the house, which I'm sure his wife has already done as well. And the funny thing is, well, not so funny, was he burnt a hole through one side completely and then tried again. Or this could have been the first one and the second one was the better one. So I've got two to mend. So let's get on with it. Usually you'd pick up the extra fabric from the back. They've put a different fabric on the back, which is a little bit of a bind, so I'm going to have to undo that and peel back here to see what I've got. I've got some fabric here and here, so I'm going to have to do some harvesting of fabric. They've actually got quite a nice deep seam on here. Usually it's only ½ inch. I'm going to cut in here twice, and when I say twice, it's one for each side. That's the thing, you've got to manage to find the fabric that you can use. I think that might be big enough. I've still left ½ inch, so it should still hold. So long as it goes both sides, that's fine. Then where else can I pinch it from? The side's a little bit tighter. I'll find another bit in a minute. I have the pieces, and this fabric has a pile to it, so I've got to make sure that the pile is going the right way. Ideally you should have the fabric matching a pattern, so just be very careful. Next thing, a piece of card. Pop that down and underneath where I'm going to be repairing. The reason is I don't want to be putting my stitches into the dacron underneath. I'm also going to zip this back up so there's a little bit of tension on the mend. I am going to very carefully cut the burn off, only the burn, because I don't want the hole to get too much bigger than it already is. And the burnt fabric isn't going to allow the fabric on top to be stretched very far. I'm not stretching it really. I think I've got most of that out. You really don't want very much of it to be left in. Now I've got a clean area to work with. Wish I could see better. There we go, that's that done. Pull this back, and I think, is that where I wanted it? Double check that's actually facing the right way. It's really important to get the fabric going the same way, because you don't want it to be showing a different light. Once you have decided which way it goes, push your little piece of fabric down and under your mend. I'm trying to make sure it's even. I'm trying to line up the rows as best I can. I'm not going to be able to pattern match. I can feel it with my fingers under there, and I've just got to place it as evenly as I can. This is the thing, you often can't get very much fabric to do the repair in the first place, so your fabric piece is like gold dust. It has to be exactly where it needs to be. So that's there. I'm going to put a pin here and a pin on the top so it cannot move, and zip it all back up. I need the tension on the repair. Now I've chosen base colour thread, although it's a little bit lighter on the top. The background weave is a little bit darker. A little bit of thread like that. So I've doubled my thread over. I'm going to knot it. I did think about using upholstery thread, but the thing is with upholstery thread it's quite thick and I didn't want it to ridge too much. Double this should be fine. Let's see what we can do. I'm going to remove the bottom pin. What I need to do is put a bit of a hem on here, so I have the fabric turning underneath. I'm going to take a little stitch a little way back like that with another needle, and then all you have to do is push this top fabric underneath so that it doesn't show, and then sew into the bottom fabric just a little bit. And I'm doing an overstitch, but I'm trying to keep the overstitch in the way it was woven, which is a little bit difficult because, as I say, my eyesight is so trashed. I really can't see what I'm doing these days. I'm trying to secure the edge of the repair onto the under fabric, but in such a way that it holds. Any loose ends, just make sure they go back into place. It's really awkward because I don't have very much fabric to work with at all. Try to get all of those raw ends underneath. And you don't go very much further back than about 1/8 of an inch, so you really are working with hardly anything. The trick is trying to make it unseen. Again, I'm going to push those raw edges underneath I'm hitting the cardboard, so that makes life a lot easier. And there again, there's a few little threads there that I don't want to show. And you need to go around a couple of times because this is all that's holding your repair in place. These tiny little stitches, and you don't want them to give if you can help it. You're always going to feel the repair, but you might not be able to see it. I'm going to go around again, but I'm going outside the repair a little way so that I'm just holding down the fabric underneath to the top fabric like this, and therefore you've got two layers of stitching. You've got the one on the repair, and then you have the other one holding the fabric that's being used for the repair in place, so it should hold. Keep both threads as even as you can. Make sure you don't go back down the same hole, otherwise you don't have a stitch. And these stitches are hidden in amongst the pile of the fabric and are a little bit bigger, so I'm going to go around at least twice for these so that I know everything is secure. Let's say I had no clue if people still smoked in the house. My neighbour over the road smokes outside. I've had two lodgers here, they've smoked outside. I grew up being aware that smoking could kill, as in burn your house down. So I'm going to go around again, just hold everything. It feels secure, I think it will hold. Here's the area this one was mended. It does show a little bit, especially if you know it's there. And here's the other one. I can feel it more than see it, so I think they'll be pleased with it. Thank you for joining me on this little project. The moral of the story obviously is don't smoke in the house, but if you have got burns on your furniture, sometimes you can take the fabric from the underside of maybe a chair frame. If you want to see more from me, please subscribe and hit the bell button, and a few thumbs up would be absolutely excellent. And in the meantime, take care, see you later. Ciao!